Golf games have been topping the chart for many years. Casual gameplay mechanics and awesome graphics have made these games playable by large audiences. I love golf games a lot. Great way of time buster. And I'm sure you guys also must have played some type of golf game in your life. Hello guys and welcome back to Madfire on channel. So in this tutorial, we are going to create a simple casual looking golf game. In this video, we are going to check mouse track control, which will be used to rotate our camera and apply force and direction to our ball. Level manager, which will help us manage our level progress, singleton concept and more. Before we start, you need to download and import the starter project. So go to description, click on starter project link, download Unity package, then create Unity project, change the platform to Android and import the package to it. Now we are ready to follow the tutorial. Okay, so first we will make our level manager an instance. So for that we will type public static level manager and we'll call this an instance. Now let's go to our ball controller and we have this awake method. Let's copy this and let's paste it here. Let's paste it here. We don't need start, we can remove that. And let's remove rigid body because there is no rigid body on level manager. And we can also remove update because we have nothing to update in our level manager also. So now we need to spawn our ball as well as our level prefab. So for that, first we will create a serialized field private game object ball prefab. So this will store reference to our ball prefab. Then we will create a serialized field private level data array and we will call this level data. We are using array because we already know how many levels we are going to have and that's why we are using an array. And we want our array to be accessed by other scripts as well. So as it is a private, we need to create a getter for that. So we will create a public level data get return level data. We also need one more int variable to count the number of shots we have taken. So we'll create a private int shot count and by default it will be a 0. So now we will create a method to spawn our level. So we'll type public void spawn level and it will take a int parameter that will be our level index. Now inside that we will instantiate our level. So we'll call instantiate level data, will pass the index and we will get the level prefab of that index. Then the position will be vector3.0 and rotation will be quaternion dot identity. That means whatever the rotation that level prefab has, it will maintain it. Then we will set our shot count equal to level data at the given level index dot shot limit, and then we will spawn our ball. So we will type game object ball is equal to instantiate ball prefab at position vector3.0 with rotation quaternion dot identity. Now we also need a method to keep track of number of shots we have. So we will create a public void shot taken. Inside that we will check if shot count is greater than 0, then we will reduce our shot count by 1. Okay, so now we need go to our ball controller. So when we hit our ball, we are deactivating our area effector. So we need to activate it. So what we can do is we will create a private void update method, and in that we will check if rg body dot velocity is equal to vector3 dot 0, and we need one more boolean to decide whether our ball is moving or not. So here beside our can short bool we will create a bool called is ball static, and by default it will be true because our ball is at a rest position. So in fixed update, when we shoot, we'll set our is ball static equal to false. That means now it will be start moving, or we can do it here at the end once we have applied the force to our ball. So here we will check is ball static false. That means our ball is in a movement. So first we will set our is ball static equal to true. Then we set our rg body dot angular velocity equal to vector3 dot 0. So this is the velocity with which our ball is rotating basically. So we need to set it to 0, and we will activate our area effector. So we'll just copy this and paste it here, and instead of false I will set it to true. Okay, so right now we also need to track whether our game is complete or failed or like that. So for that we will create a new class. So let's go back to our editor, and in scripts folder right click and create a new C# script, and let's call this game manager, and let's create a empty game object. Let's call this game manager, and let's drag our game manager to it. Okay, so our game manager will be a singleton. That means if we move from one scene to another, our game object on which this game manager script is attached will not get destroyed, and it will be persistent throughout all the levels. So to make it a singleton, we will first create a public static game manager singleton variable, and then in awake what we'll do is we'll check if our singleton is equal to null. If it is null, then we set our singleton equal to this. Okay, and we set that don't destroy on load game object. So this is the Unity's default method, and it states that this game object will not get destroyed if we load a new scene, and else if there is already a singleton available we will destroy this game object. So destroy game object, right? So as you know guys, we are spawning level with the help of level index. We can also have, or we can also keep a track of the level. So here we will create a public int uh, current level index. By default will set it to 0. Okay, we don't need start and update because the script doesn't have much logic inside it. And we will create a new enum that will be public enum game status. Our game can be in none mode, it can be in playing mode, it can be in a failed mode, or it can be a complete mode. Okay, and we will make it system dot serializable so that we can access this enum from inspector. Right now we are not going to access it because all the things which is happening with this, with the help of this enum, will be within the scripts only. Set our public game status, and by default it will be game status dot none. Now as we know, we are not going to edit this from our inspector, so we are just calling, we will just add an attribute hide inspector to both of them so that we cannot edit them from inspector. Now let's go back to our level manager. So in short taken, we know if we run out of our shots, we need to set our game failed status. So what we'll do is we check if our shot count is less than or equal to 0. Most probably at 0 we are going to set it. We just set our game status, so game manager dot singleton dot game status is equal to game status dot failed, because we have ran out of our shots and we have not yet put our ball in our goal, so we are just setting it to fail. In our spawn level, once we have spawned our level, we need to set our game status to playing, so we will call our game manager dot singleton dot game status is equal to game status dot playing. Okay, let's save all this thing and go back to our editor. We have our game manager, we have our input manager, we need our level manager. Right click and create a level manager. Let's call this level manager. Let's drag our level manager to it. We need our level ball prefab, our level size. So as you can see here guys, in our default starter project we have 5 levels made, so just set it to 5 and let's just drag them, and I will set the short limit to 5 for each of them. Now you can adjust it according to the levels, so it depends like how difficult you want to create your level and all those things. Okay, so if I click on play, we should spawn our ball as well as our level. Okay, we didn't, because we didn't call our method. So in level manager, let's create a start method. Let's call our spawn level there, and let's pass our game manager dot singleton dot current level index. Now we all know that current level index at game manager is 0 by default, so 0th element level will be spawned. So if I click on play, you can see we are spawning our ball, but our ball is spawned at a wrong position, that's why it is falling down. So we need to make some adjustment. So let's drag our level 1 prefab. Okay, and also drag our ball prefab. So let's see where it is. Okay, so why it is 0.5. Okay, so let's delete both of them. Let's go back to our level manager. So here in spawn level method, we are spawning our ball. So right now it is vector 3.0. I don't want the vector 0.0, so let's add vector 3 dot up. Now we know vector 3 dot up is x and z are 0 and y is 1, right? we want our y to be 0.5, so I will just multiply it by 0.5 and this should solve our issue. Okay, so now our ball is correctly spawned. So let's try to shoot. Okay, as you can see here guys, our area activator is also getting activated once our ball is back to static. Okay, so one thing guys, this level, if you go and check all these parts of the level, they have this box colliders on it. Now I have adjusted all those box collider as much as I can to make the level as smooth as possible, so there can be some chances like ball is bouncing off and all those things. So you just make sure that the colliders are correctly arranged. And the other thing is this ball material, the physics material, where it is, game assets physics material. Okay. So you also need to play with this physics material so that it will show some realistic golf ball, what you can say, physics. So try with these two things, with the collider as well as this physics material, so that you get a better feel of the golf ball. So as you can see, our ball is spawning, our level is also spawning, and we also have one thing. So we have this whole prefab. Inside that, we have this one object called hole, and it has a box collider to it. And you can see it is a simple collider which is little bit outside our prefab, but it is just below this hole. Now we are going to use this game object, reference of this game object, to decide whether our ball has reached the hole or not. So in our ball we have this pair collider. So if I open prefab and I will zoom in, so if I click on this edit button, you can see our sphere collider, and it is east trigger. So we are going to use this east trigger sphere collider to detect the colliding objects. So let's go to our ball controller. Here below our start method, we'll call our on trigger enter method. So on trigger enter method is Unity's default method. It is used for detecting the colliders. So first is if other dot name is equal to whole. So we know that we have set our whole name to whole, and if it is true, then we need to like call our level complete method here. And there is one more game object. So if I go to our level prefab, we have this destroyer. So let's say our ball goes out of our level, then it collides with this destroyer and it should get destroyed, and our level should be failed. So here we'll copy this, paste it here, and instead of hole we will, let's copy this name and paste it here. So make sure guys, the name you are checking should be exact, and instead of level complete we will call our level failed method. Let's go to our level manager and let's create a method. So public void level complete, and let's copy this and paste it here, and instead of level complete it will be level failed. Now in our ball controller we need to call them. So when we hit our hole, we'll call our level complete. So level manager dot instance dot level complete, and if it is destroyer, then we'll call our level manager dot instance dot level failed method. Okay, so now we have two conditions where our level gets failed. So one is when we are out of shots, and other is when our ball go outside our level and hit to the destroyer. Let's add some functionality to our UI. So save all this thing and go back, click on scripts and create a new C# script, and let's call this UI manager. Let's go back, let's create a new game object, resets its transform, and let's call this UI manager and drag our UI manager to it. Okay, so now it's time to activate our canvas. So In Canvas, we have our main menu as well as our game menu, so we need to activate and deactivate them. Then we have this grid which has a container which will be holding all the buttons for our respective levels. And in game manager, we have this level over panel as well as this short count text, and we also have this ball fill image info which shows how much force we are applying, as well as there are few buttons also. So for that, what we will do is let's open our UI manager. As usual, let's make it instance. So public static UI manager instance. Let's go to our level manager, and let's copy our awake method, and let's paste it here, and let's remove our update. We don't need our update. So now we need references. So first will be our serialize field private. This will be an image. So we also need to call using unity engine dot ui. So image, our power image. Then we need a serialize field private text, and this will show our short text. Then we need a serialize field private game object. So we know we have few game objects to activate and deactivate. So first is main menu, then we have game menu, then we have game over panel, then we have our retry button and our next button. Then we also need a serialize field private game object. So we have a level button prefab, so we will be using this to instantiate, and we have a container, so this will be the parent for all our level button prefab. Now we need to set our power image and short text from other scripts, so we will create a getter for them. So public image power image, and we are going to get return power image. Let's copy this and paste it here, and instead of image it will be a text. It will be, let's copy this, our short text, and we are going to return our short text. So in awake, our power image dot fill amount will be 0. So we just want to make sure that at the start of our game our fill amount is always 0. So now we need to also create our button. So we'll create a start method. Inside this we will create our button. So for that we'll create a private void create button method, or we will call this create level buttons. So we know how many levels we are going to have, so we will have a for loop here. So for our I equal to 0, then our level manager have a reference to number of levels. So level manager dot instance dot level datas dot length. So as it is an array, we will call length. Now we need to spawn the game object. So game object label button is equal to instantiate level button prefab, and our parent will be container dot transform. Then we need to set button index. So if you go back to our editor, we have this button prefab here. Just click on it and open it. So you see here the first child of our prefab is a text, and this text shows the index of our level. Here we are going to get reference to our first text. So level button dot transform dot get child, and as it is the first child it will be a 0. We know it has a text component on it. Dot get component text dot text will be equal to quotations plus I plus 1. Now the reason we are setting I plus 1 because our I starts from 0 and our index starts from 1, so we set it to I plus 1. Now we need to get reference to the button component. So button is equal to label button dot get component button, and we also need to add the listener to this. So we will create a new method. So private void on click, and the on click will take a button parameter. So when we click on any level button, we want our main menu dot set active to false. So we want to deactivate our main menu, then we want to activate our game menu. So game menu dot set active to true. Then we need to set our game manager current index. So game manager dot singleton dot current level index is equal to button dot transform dot get sibling index. So sibling index is nothing but the child index of that object. I will show it once we populate our level buttons. Next we need to spawn our level. So we will call our level manager dot instance dot spawn level, and we will pass our game manager's current level index, and let's call this method here. So button dot on click dot add listener, and we will call this on click here, and we will pass our button object. Okay, let's go to our level manager, and when we are spawning we are setting it to 2. That's correct. Okay, let's go back to our UI manager. So in UI manager, when we start, so we can also, what you can say, reload the same level or go to main menu and start the level. So here we will check if our game manager dot singleton dot game status is equal to game status dot none. So if it is true, then only we are going to populate our level buttons. So else if our game status is failed, or our game status is complete, so we need to reload the same level or go to the next level, right? We don't need to show our main menu here. So what we will do here is we'll just copy all of this and paste it here, and instead of setting our game manager, we will remove this thing. We are not going to set it here. So in level manager, in level complete method, first we will check if our game manager dot singleton dot game status is equal to game status dot playing. So still we are in a play mode, then we are going to change our game status. So let's copy this and paste it here. So now our game status is equal to game status dot completed. Then we need to load our new level. So first we will check if our game manager dot singleton dot current level index is less than our level data dot length. So we want to make sure that we won't load or try to load a level which doesn't exist. So if this condition is true, then we are going to increase our current level index. So game manager dot singleton dot current level index plus plus. If the above condition is false, then what we can do is, in else we will reset our game manager dot singleton dot current level index to 0. So we'll start from 0 again. So now we also need to call one method from our UI manager, and we will call this public void game result. So we will call this method. So UI manager dot instance dot game result. Okay, and in level failed, let's copy all of this. It's pretty much same, paste it here. Now as it is level failed, we are not going to increase our current level index, so we'll remove that, and instead of game status dot complete, it will be failed. Okay, and then we will call our game result. Now in game result, go back to our UI manager. We will have a switch statement, and inside that we will call our game manager dot singleton dot game status. Okay, so in game result we are going to handle only failed and complete case, so let's remove all other cases. Okay, so now when our game is failed, we want to activate our game over menu. So game over panel dot set active to true. Then we want to activate our retry button. So retry button dot set active to true. And in complete, let's copy them, let's paste it here. So instead of retry button, we will activate our next button. And I think we can do one thing, we can just copy and paste it here. So we know very well that our game over panel will be activated in both the cases, right? So if you guys need to show different panels, you can do that. In each case we can activate the different panels, and we also have few buttons like home button and next retry button. So we'll create a public void retry next button, and this button will only load the level. So we'll call our using unity engine dot scene management. So we need this whenever we want to load the scene, and here we will call our scene manager dot load scene, and we are going to load the same scene. So scene manager dot get active scene dot index. Okay, and we also have a home button, so we'll create a public void home button. The home button will do the same what this is doing. So let's copy this. It will be reloading the level, but before it reloads the level, it will set the game status. So game manager dot singleton dot game status is equal to game status dot none. So as you know, if we click on home button, we set it to none and we reload this level. Now if we go to start, we have this condition. So if the game status is none, we create our level button, but if it is failed or complete, we go directly to the game. Let's save all this thing. Okay, let's go to our ball controller. So in ball controller we have this force. So now we need to show this force in our UI, and in UI we have one image called power bar. So we are going to set it. So UI manager dot instance dot power image dot fill amount will be equal to force divided by max force. And let's go to our level manager. So in method called short taken, we need to update our short text. So UI manager dot instance dot short text dot text is equal to, and we'll plus our short count. Okay, so let's go back to our scene. Click on our UI manager. You see all them are empty. So let's drag one by one. So first let's drag our main menu, then our game menu, then our game over panel. Inside that we have next button, retry button, and score count text. Then we have this power image, which will be this ball force image. We have our level button prefab, and we have this container. So one thing guys, if you go in our game menu, game over panel, you see our next button, it is deactive, as well as our retry button is also deactive. Let's go to our level manager, and instead of calling this spawn level in our start, we will remove that. We don't need it there. Now we will be spawning our level depending on our button we have clicked. So click on play and see we are spawning our level. So let's click on 2 and we spawn our second level, and we get a error. So this is some input manager get distance, so go to that. Okay, so we don't want our input manager to detect any inputs before the game has started. So we'll create a condition here. If our game manager dot singleton dot game status is not equal to game status dot playing, then return. So let's go back and let's try now. So let's click on play. Let's click on 2. Okay, so now we are not getting any error. right guys? Okay, so this level is difficult. I won't be able to retry. So okay, our retry button is not working. And our power bar, you see it showed some power, but we need to reset it also, so we have to fix few things. So let's go to our game menu, and here we have this retry next button. So they have a button component on them, and in on click on this plus icon, drag our UI manager, click on this no function, go to UI manager and select this retry next button. And one more thing, let's go back. Okay, so in ball controller in fixed update, once we have shot our ball, we also need to reset our this fill amount of our power image. So let's copy this, let's paste it here, and let's set it to 0. So now let's try it again. So click on this time, go to 1, and okay, we lost again. So if I click on retry, we reload that level. So guys, you can work on this force thing, how much force you want, because as you can see we have this modifier here, force modifier and all those things. So let's try to make a goal here, and I don't know why we are not able to set our short text. We'll check it at once. Okay, as you can see, once we go into goal, our level is complete and we go to next. So if I click on next button, we load our next level. So let's try to fix that bug. Go to our level manager and this short taken. Okay, so this method is not yet called anywhere. So go to our ball controller. So in update, once our ball is back to stationary, we can call our level manager dot instance dot short taken method. So we have to make sure that once our ball is back to rest, then only we call this thing. Okay, let's try. Let's go to level 2 this time and try to shoot. Okay, still it's okay, now it's working, it is showing 4. So I want in a different way. So let's go to level manager. So control X to cut it, and let's put it here plus, and this will be divided by and plus total count. So we'll create a new int, max short count, which will be 0 also by default. And here we are setting it, so let's copy this and paste it here, and we'll call this max short count. Copy this and paste it here. Let's go back. Let's click on play. Let's go to level 4 this time. Okay, this is very difficult, oh my god. Okay, I think I won't able to make it. Okay, maybe I can. Okay, I won't. So one thing guys, we need to set this thing as soon as we spawn our level. So let's copy this, and when we have done spawning and setting our game status, let's paste this here. Okay, and there is one thing we have missed. So go to our main game menu, and let's deactivate our main menu for time being. Let's go to 2D mode. Let's zoom in, and this thing is like, let's anchor this thing first, so that if we change our resolution, this thing doesn't get affected, and it will maintain its resolution respective of the any screen resolution basically. So here right click and create a new button, and we'll call this home button, and it will be of, let's say, 100 by 100. Let's click on this, uh, holding shift and alt, click on this anchoring. I think it is too huge, I believe. Let's zoom in. Okay, yeah, it's too big. Set it to 60 by 60. Okay, 60 by 60 looks good. Let's drag it here like this, and let's anchor this. Okay, so delete, right click, create a new image in that. Like this, holding alt and shift, stretch it, and select this icon here, and we have this home button icon. Let's set this to, let's say, red something like this UI, and let's change it to something like this, and let's set this to like 5 5 and 5. It will be home button. Let's move it up. Click on this plus icon, drag our UI manager, and select our home button method. Deactivate this, activate it. Let's click on play. Let's go to level 5, and let's click on this home button, and you can see we go to our main menu back. So now our game is able to load our level. Okay, that should not be happening. So to fix this issue, what we can do is go to our level 1 prefab, and we have this destroyer, right? We can increase its size, or you can just create some colliders which are vertical, so that if ball flies away like this, it get hit by that destroyer and get destroyed. So we are able to spawn our buttons, we are able to spawn our level, we are showing level fail as well as level complete. We are also able to move from one level to another. So I think we have completed this thing pretty much. Okay, one thing we are remaining to check, that is if we lose our game once we are out of shot. So let's try that. Okay, so we are out of shots, but we are not showing anything. As you can see, we cannot give any input. So let's go back to the code and let's see what is going wrong here. Okay, so here we are setting our game status to fail, correct, but we are not calling this thing. So let's call this thing, and instead of setting it to fail, let's paste it here, because we know in our level failed, we first check if our game status is playing, and then we set it to fail, and then we call game result. So I think this should work now. Click on play, go to level 2, shoot, shoot, and if we try to shoot, we are able to shoot. So we don't want that, so we have to fix that thing also. uh, okay, game complete, retry button. Okay, good. So one more fix, and that is we are able to shoot if our ball is moving. We don't want that thing. So if we go to our ball controller, in every method we will just add a one if condition. So if is ball static, is false. So that means if our ball is moving, we will return, right? We don't want anything to be performed if our ball is moving. So let's go back and let's try it. Okay, as you can see, we cannot add any force to it. So we are unable to add a force to it when it is moving. So this is pretty much done, guys. You can work on this game, make it more polished, try to add more levels, and you can also release this game. So this is how, guys, you create a very simple and minimalistic golf game in Unity. If you want the complete project, the link to the GitHub is in the description. You can go to the GitHub link and get the complete project. I hope you have learned something new and enjoyed this video. I will be back soon with a new video with a new game. So till then, goodbye, take care, and thank you.